Yeah, so we actually didn't look at it because we do not have SAP HR.
Tommy, you want to add anything to that?
We don't have any ramp-up customers yet who has defined that scope, but we do support HR trigger, what we supported in 5.3. The little bit architecture change, it is now real-time interface from HR system. We don't poll like every 1 hour or 2 hours to get the HR events. And now the moment the HR event happens, again, because we are in ABAP stack, we can real-time get those events into GRC, apply rules, and create a request. So that's a big change in terms of the integration.
Yes.
Do you have support for CRMs, like the business partner and all the assignments?
You know what, it's not supported as of now. We are writing our own code. So that is the good piece of having a BAP system. So we are doing, as of now, we are integrating with Solution Manager. That's where you need PPID. You have, for the charm system, you got to associate PPID to your SU01 master record. We are actually, as of now, we already wrote the code and we are testing the solution. So there are exits available from access controls, and we can do that. On top of that, we are, as Eric mentioned, we are ramping up on SNC, which is part of SCM. Even that requires internet user and BPID referencing, and we are writing code for that as well.
Very good. Yes.
You guys in Levi have Tivoli identity management solutions. So going from 5.3 to 10.0, how much time? I know you have a go live coming up, but in Sandbox with QA system, how much time to upgrade and migrate, and what impact on the IBM solution? Is it now during that time?
So we had a different integration scenario than most of the customers or the way SAP markets, right? Where either IDM acts as the presentation layer, and IDM then sends SAP systems request to CUP or whatever, GRC tool, right? Or GRC CUP would act as the presentation layer, and it would send non-SAP systems to IDM. Our presentation, our integration scenario was a little different, where our ITIM solution acts as our enterprise-wide controls and compliance solution. So whenever someone leaves or someone has been let go from the company, we need to make sure that all of the accounts related to that person are deactivated in all the SAP and non-SAP systems, and that should happen automatically. That's where 5.3 was not capable to do that kind of integration, because we wanted, as soon as a new account is created via CUP, we wanted a CUP to notify ITIM, which is IBM Tivoli Identity Manager, that this new account has been created, so that ITIM can create that reference that, okay, this user ID is now created in this development SAP box or production SAP box, which was not possible. What I ended up doing, I wrote a Java code, and we actually started talking directly to the GRC database, which is not a good solution, because that was a batch job. It was not automated. It used to pull data and find out if the new account is created or not. Now that, again, same thing. Exits are available. We are writing the code where, as soon as the exit is triggered for provisioning, it also notifies ITIM, because ITIM has a web service. It sends the data to ITIM web service that, okay, this user account is being created. This is the system, and ITIM would take care of the referencing the system into the ITIM database. So as soon as if the user has been let go or user leaves the company, ITIM can deprovision the access.
So is there any downtime?
Not really. I think most probably there will be a cutover time for a week, but that's about it.
Do you have a follow-up question? Because he has a question before you.
Follow-up to the same.
Follow-up? Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So you're having IT actually do the deprovisioning instead of CUP doing the deprovisioning?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we are not using CUP for non-SAP systems, whereas ITIM is our enterprise-wide compliance solution. So it talks to our Windows, LDAP, SharePoint access, SAP, and we have a lot of non-SAP systems, cards, supplier web. So ITIM can take care of all the deprovisioning access for all the systems.
But the provisioning is done by?
Yes,
CUP.
provisioning is done by, to SAP systems, provisioning is done by CUP.
Okay.
And once we go live, we are planning to add other systems to CUP as well, because now that ABAP code is available, if you can use the exit and write code on the other systems, on non-SAP systems, you can use CUP to act as a provisioning engine for all of your systems, not only SAP. So resourcing, we didn't have to change the resourcing because we had the same persons working on the 5.3 and 10.0. I was involved in 5.3. I was the architect and administrator. We had the same guys involved, and of course with SAP's help, the learning curve was much smoother than I anticipated. Of course, the hardware changes totally, right? Because that was a Java system which did not have an ABAP stack. And it's always recommended to start afresh because it's 10.0. So you start with, we started with Sandbox. We are now D, Q, and P. All of them are up and running. Of course, I'm still working on the development box. Hardware changes a little bit, but the sizing is almost same. I think they are releasing a sizing document. We followed the sizing document. I can't remember the numbers right now, but we did. If you understand sizing, it's 8,000 SAPs. That's what we needed for every GRC system from our landscape perspective. And then SAPs will drill down. SAPs is an SAP performance benchmarking, which drills down to your actual processor, your RAM, hard drive size, and all. I can't remember the numbers, but maybe we can connect and I can find out. I should have those numbers somewhere.
Okay. That's good. You want to add anything to that?
I think when we released a very high-level sizing guide for our Apple customers, so we are learning the process and doing the benchmarks and sizing. So when the product becomes GA, there will be a true sizing guide which will help you plan your hardware for the ABAP stack.
Very good. You have the next question, right? Do you have a question?
It was covered.
Okay, covered. Very good. So you're next.
Is SAP considering accepting ramp-up customers for that HR trigger functionality?
We don't have any limitations. If the customer comes and says in ramp-up he's going to use HR trigger use case, we are fine with that.
Okay. Are you volunteering? Very good. Yes, please.
I had another role expert question and would like to volunteer to test ERM in ramp-up. Is there any enhanced functionality in 10 on mass role import or connectivity directly to development systems such that you don't have to re-import your roles? Because if you're not building the roles in ERM, that's one way to leverage the capabilities of ERM for risk analysis and approval workflow is to do a mass role import. But obviously you want to bring in the latest version so that the risk analysis is accurate. Any comments on that?
How many you want to take it?
Yeah. So we did a direct connectivity now to backend systems. Again, because we are in ABAP, we have that freedom to do RFC call to ABAP systems.
I may need to buy you a drink after this.
So you don't need to download now to files. So we still continue to support that because we did in 5.3. But you have now option directly to go to the backend system and import them. You could schedule as a background job, or you could run ad hoc.
Very nice.
And he likes it. I can tell.
There's a question here? Yes.
More on when you talk about the tools where you go from 5.3 to 10.0. What was that experience like of you take the big bunch of data, put it into this converter, and then it comes out manual effort, intervention, errors?
Yeah, there'll be errors, right? It's a ramp-up is a bumpy ride, but yeah, with the help of SAP, and of course the tool is still evolving, right? It's in beta. I basically am able to in fact work with SAP and guide them kind of this is what customers would prefer to see in the migration tool. This is how it should behave. It shouldn't be very, very technical. It should be able to, it should be intuitive, right? So, but yeah, there is always some issues. And as Michaela mentioned, CUP and ERM, it's recommended that you almost, reconfigure. But RAR and SPM, it's pretty straight migration process. You should be able to migrate all your mitigating controls, rule set, firefighter ID assignments, all those information. Yes,
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
So do you lose your request history, I mean, when you do the AC10?
I can answer that. So it is not, so we are still working on that. It will be released in the next SP. So what we do is we take the historical data and archive them. We don't import that back to 10.0 system because 10.0 system, the workflow is entirely different and the data model is not compatible. And in 5.3, the request history, especially the logs, the workflow logs, they are built on proprietary technology which was built, and in 10.0 workflow log is different. So what we do is we take that transactional data, export into files where you can do reporting, auditing for your future reference.
Do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, it's totally separate, but I was, when you do an AC10, like if you're prototyping something like that, I was just want to make sure the RTAs aren't gonna, you can have both concurrently at some point.
That's a great question. Because I went through the pain. So SAP is working on it. So as soon as we did customer validation, and I really wanted to answer that, I'll let you answer later. But I really wanted to speak about it because I'm excited. Because as soon as we did customer validation, I spoke to Banu and Shah. I said, no customer would want to migrate to 10.0 and remove all the connections from 5.3, because the way SAP upgrade process works, we all know that as soon as you implement new tool, it's going to wipe out all your earlier installation, right? So as soon as you install 10.0 plugins, it actually wiped out 5.3 RTA. And I wanted to make sure that all my systems stay connected to 5.3. Users do not have to worry about, or they do not know about it while I'm working on 10.0, right? So they gave, we worked together for couple of months, and finally they gave me a manual solution, and SAP is currently working on an automated solution. I can't comment on when it would be available, but I will let Banu answer that.
So we are still working on the dates, but it will be definitely when we are GA, it should be available, and we'll document and release a note on how that will work and how they will coexist.
So at least you guys can use it. I have to live with the manual solution.